Going through a divorce, it's just tough. And let's be honest, the house is usually right at the center of all that stress. If you're from Woodbury and this is what you're facing, you've come to the right place. We're going to break down exactly how to value your home, making sure it's done right and, most importantly, fairly. So let's just get right to it. Is the house the biggest source of stress for you? For so many people going through a separation, that question it hits home. Because we all know the house isn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It's filled with memories, right? And that's what makes figuring out its future so stressful and emotional.
And look, that feeling is totally valid. It makes perfect sense. For most couples, the house is by far the biggest thing they own together. And because of all that financial and emotional weight we just talked about, it can easily turn into the biggest fight of the whole process. So, how do you cut through all that emotion and potential conflict to get to something fair? Well, there is a clear path. You have to start thinking of a professional appraisal differently. It's not just another chore on the list. It's your map. It's what guides you to a fair, objective outcome.
Okay, so what is a divorce appraisal? It's really important to know this isn't the same thing you'd get for a mortgage or if you were just selling your house. Nope. This is a specialized, independent valuation that's prepared specifically for divorce proceedings. And here's the key part. It's the gold standard. It's what attorneys and courts right here in New Jersey trust and depend on. And the difference it makes is, well, it's night and day. You can really see the two paths you can take. With an appraisal, you get clarity. You get a neutral number that the court will accept, which cuts down on the fighting. But without one, you're looking at pure guesswork, emotional numbers, and a huge potential for conflict and really expensive delays. It's a no-brainer, really. All right, so now we know why getting an appraisal is so crucial. Let's pivot to the how, because I know this can feel like a really daunting process, but when you break it down, it's actually just a series of simple, manageable steps. Here it is, the whole roadmap, in just 6 steps. First, you decide on the purpose and timing with your lawyer. Then you choose your appraiser, schedule the inspection, and do a little prep. After the appraiser does their thing, you just review the report. That's it. When you see it all laid out like this, it feels a whole lot less intimidating, right? Now let's zoom in on step 2 for a second, because choosing the right expert is absolutely everything. You can't just pick anyone. You need a certified residential appraiser who specifically has experience with divorce cases. And local knowledge? That's critical. A Woodbury appraiser is going to know the local market inside and out. Oh, and here's a great tip. To save some money, you and your spouse can actually agree to use one neutral expert. Okay, let's jump to step 4, prepping the house. And don't worry, this is not like staging your home for an open house. The appraiser cares about the structure, the condition, the core features. All you really need to do is just tidy up a bit so they can get into all the rooms and see everything. And maybe gather some key documents like your latest tax assessment or receipts for any big upgrades you've done. This just helps them build a really solid and, this is the important word, defensible value. So, what's the payoff for all this? You get a super detailed written report. And I mean, it's not just one number on a page. It's got photos, a deep dive analysis of what similar homes have sold for right there in Woodbury, and of course, that final, defensible opinion of value. This is the document you can take into any negotiation, mediation, or even to court. But even with the most professional process, you might not agree on the number. It happens. And I know this is a huge source of anxiety for people, so let's tackle it head on. Let's talk about what happens if you hit that bump in the road. This is the big what if, isn't it? What happens if you get that report back and you or your spouse you think the value is wrong? Well, the good news is you're not stuck. That number isn't the final word. Here's what you need to remember. Either one of you has the right to get your own independent appraisal, a second opinion. So if you really feel that number is off, you can hire your own expert to do a completely separate analysis. It's all about making sure both sides feel like they've been heard. And what if you have 2 different reports and you still can't agree? That's where the system has a backstop. A judge will step in. They might look at both reports and make a decision, or they might even order a brand new third appraisal to be the final tiebreaker. The point is, there's always a way to resolve it. Okay, let's pull this all together. We've talked about the why, the how, and even the what ifs. So now let's boil it down to the key takeaways, the things you absolutely need to know to protect your finances and get some clarity in what is, let's face it, a really confusing time. If you only take away a few things today, let it be these. 1, get that appraisal done early. Don't wait. 2, hire a local Woodbury pro who has real divorce experience. 3, Remember that this whole process is about protecting your equity. And 4, it gives you that neutral, solid number you need to negotiate fairly. And this quote right here, it just says it all, doesn't it? Working early with an experienced appraiser often prevents costly courtroom battles. That's the real goal. This isn't just about a number. It's about being proactive. It's an investment you make now to avoid incredibly expensive and emotionally draining fights later on. So let's end on this thought. This whole process can feel like it's filled with nothing but guesswork and uncertainty, but it doesn't have to be. An appraisal gives you a clear path forward, one that's based on facts, not feelings. So the real question is, are you ready to trade all that uncertainty for a clear number so you can start building your next chapter on a foundation that's solid and fair?